Hey everybody, Tiffany here on Bewitching.Bemused. Today we're going to talk about pets and magic. Magic and pets. I do believe that if there was a Venn diagram of people who watch this channel and people who have pets and love animals, it would be like that. My hands are not circles, so I can't show you. I'm like this, like just barely off. So this one is just going to be a big general overview of this topic, but of course I can always delve a little bit deeper into something specific. And this is going to apply to any pets, not just the traditional dogs and cats. Some people who are magical practitioners have pets and they consider them familiars, right? So I just want to get this out of the way at the top. We're not necessarily talking about that today, especially because the term familiar is pretty convoluted, only because some people view it as like a pet that you feel a deep kinship with, that you rely on as a spiritual companion, an ally. They might assist you with energy work to power rituals and such. And we're going to touch on that a little bit. But then there's another camp who is like, no, animals are not familiars. Animals are pets. Yes, they can be like deeply bonded companions, but a familiar is an entity or a spirit that you have summoned, right? So that's a completely different thing that we're not going to talk about today. But yes, like I said, pets have long been considered protectors, companions. They can provide an excellent spiritual ally, magical ally, and a font of energy. First, we're going to talk about magic for pets, and then we're going to talk about magic with pets. First, just to get this out of the way, there are, of course, the ethical considerations. Pets can often be overwhelmed by intense scents, by smoke, flashing lights, loud noises, or intense energies during rituals. Their participation should always be voluntary because they're enjoying hanging around, not because you're like forcing them to be there. All right, so magic for pets. Obviously, our pets are important to us. Their health, their safety, their happiness is important to us. If it wasn't, why the hell would we take these lazy, mooching leeches and allow them into our homes to potentially stink up the place, claw up the couch, require expensive vet appointments and food? They're not paying any rent because we love them and they love us. So here are a few enchantment ideas to improve your pet's life overall. First is a protective charm. Consider crafting or purchasing a charm that you can attach to your pet's collar, or maybe their cage or their crate if they do not wear a collar. I'll put some Amazon links down below in the description box to some charms that you could purchase just for this, but you can also craft it yourself. You can use runes, you can use a pentagram, you could use your own design for a sigil. Another wonderful option are bells, like bells on a cat's collar. Yes, you can put them on a dog's collar too. A bell is going to actively be providing sound cleansing while also uplifting energy. Now, while you could make like a small charm bag or pouch with herbs in it, just be really, really careful, because if it breaks or falls off, which is likely to happen eventually with play and whatnot, or, cats climbing into things, a lot of herbs are highly toxic to animals. Or they can be, or lots of animals are allergic to certain types of herbs. So I wouldn't recommend it. And if you are going to do it, just really do some thorough research first. If you're not sure on how to charge up that charm with that particular intention, I do have a whole video about charging up jewelry with intentions, which I'll link down below for you. I mean, it is jewelry still, right? It's just for an animal. Whether your pet is a goldfish in a bowl of water or a hamster in a little cage that needs a little bottle of water with the ball on the thing, either way, your pets need water. So I would recommend blessing that water. My personal favorite way is to put it out under the full moon and let it charge. I'd get like a nice big pitcher of this and just add a splash of it to my pet's water every day. It doesn't have to be the entire bowl, although you could do that on the night of the full moon if you've got enough like shelf space or places outside to set them out. If you have a fish, you could pour a little bit into their tank. Just remember to always use the correct type of water for it. I'm not a fish person, but I believe it needs to be filtered. Or of course, you might have a saltwater fish, so take that into consideration. Or you could use it to anoint their fur, scales, feathers, or skin. A wonderful favor that you could do for your pet is keeping your home energetically cleansed. Pets spend most, if not all, of their time in your home. They don't get to go out into the wide world on their own and escape it whenever they're starting to feel a little a little tied up or claustrophobic. Pets are also deeply, deeply sensitive to energies within your home. Just make sure to cleanse your space regularly. And if you're not sure how, I have another video on that from a very long time ago. I will also link that down below. I would also recommend placing some selenite or black tourmaline near your pet's bed or their food dishes, or just places that they tend to like to hang out. That way that space is always kind of ready for them. Finally, before we move on to the next section, here is a very simple spell. It's a candle spell for healing an unwell pet. Take a white candle, carve their name into it, as well as any symbols of healing or recovery that you might like. Charge it with your intentions, focusing on them recovering and feeling better. And then light the candle, have your pet nearby, preferably be cuddling them, petting them, providing them comfort. So as you focus on the candle burning, you can project your well wishes and your intentions of healing and overall health improvement, both directly into your pet as well as into the flame of the candle. Just really channel all of your love into your pet in that moment. Next is Magick with Pets. Pets are naturally magical beings, especially, I know I welcome all kinds of magical practitioners here, whatever your brand is of that, but especially if you're pagan like myself, or you find yourself along that sort of natural path, then you probably already are highly attuned with animals. And you recognize that they are very naturally magical beings. So their involvement in your magic, in your spells, as well as their own unique traits, both for their breed, their species, and just their own personality, can help enhance your craft. One way to do this is to collect anything that they shed and use it as a spell ingredient. So this could be fur, this could be feathers, this could be skin, hermit crab shells, whiskers is another one. But just, of course, wait until they naturally shed the item before collecting it. Like, don't go plucking their fur. Just as a few examples of how you might incorporate these into, like, as a correspondence into your spells. I've used my rabbit's fur in a charm bag for fertility. I have incorporated some of my dog's fur for a friendship spell. Another couple recommendations are whiskers in general, whether cats, dogs, what have you. They're used for sensing, right? So anything with psychic awareness or just trying to have a better perspective of something, understand something overall, see something that you're missing. Whiskers are going to be great for that. Cat fur is great for psychic awareness, clarity. Dog fur for protection, loyalty, friendship, guidance as well. Rabbit fur, luck, fertility, abundance. Snake skin for change, banishing. Bird feathers for clarity. I mean, it goes on. And that's just a handful of suggestions. Like I said, you can use general correspondences for your pet's species, but also consider their specific breed. Consider even like the color of their fur. You can also consider their personality. Correspondences can be very, very powerful and impactful. I've talked about this a lot. But they can be very powerful and impactful when you apply your own personal symbolism to them based on your own lived experience. So for instance, my cat, I recently adopted him as a kitten. He was literally in the bushes outside of my patio. I had my headset on and I heard meowing, and I went out and I saw him, and he's the exact color I've always wanted in a cat, never owned a cat before. And he turned and he looked at me and he went, meow. And I was like, oh, I'm in love. You're mine. You're mine. And now Vesper is mine. So yes, when he sheds his fur, I could use that in any cat symbolism, black cat specific symbolism. But I would also definitely use that in spells for meeting new people, making a good first impression, strengthening a bond, when seeking something lost, anything to do with home, finding home. He specifically would be a great little correspondence for those. As a magical practitioner, I also highly recommend that you observe your pet's behavior. Like I said, they're naturally magically inclined, and pets and animals are highly intuitive in natural forces as well as magic. Just consider animals who start to act a little weird right before an earthquake. I'm from California, so that's definitely a thing. I will tell you that for sure. They often sense energies that we cannot. You'll also hear stories of people who lived in homes that were haunted and their cat or their dog would just kind of sit in the corner and look at things. So they pick up on things that we don't. Pay attention to where they linger, how they act, how they respond to certain humans too. Their instincts are a really great way to guide you and just inform you of certain things around you that you may not otherwise be aware of, and they can also help you strengthen your own intuition. I hate to use the term spirit animal because I know with that I'm kind of getting into some cultural appropriation territory, but for lack of a better term, just understand I mean no offense, and I'm not necessarily trying to relate it directly to Native American beliefs. However, I do believe that all animals embody a certain set of traits and energies. For instance, an owl. I mean, I don't know a whole lot of people with a pet owl, but maybe you have one that frequents a tree in your backyard, right? They embody wisdom. Dogs, loyalty. Rabbits, luck. Those are just a couple, and often they represent more than one thing. So meditate on what your specific pet represents, both on their own, but within the context of your life, and consider ways that they can help to amplify that energy for you. You can absolutely involve your pets in your ritual workings. Of course, don't force them to be there like I already mentioned, but you could take their bed and bring it in and cast your circle around it, creating sacred space for them as well as yourself and your working. They can act as energetic guardians. They can also help to fuel and lend energy to your working. And as pets, unless you have like a super hyper puppy or something in the mix, who can actually help to bring about even more energy for you, pets tend to calm us. They are our comfort. They are a symbol of home for us. So they can really create a healthy, like, grounding presence for you. If your pet is a great calm cuddler, I would highly recommend using them as a meditation focus. When you sit down to meditate, have your pet with you, just calm and relaxed and just pet their fur and just let that be your meditative focus. This can also help calm both you and them if you're having anxiety or if they tend to have anxiety, and it can help to strengthen the bond between the two of you. And finally, it's time to consider your pet the protector of your home, even if they are sort of limited to a cage space or a tank, or they're like a little tiny dog that nobody would ever find threatening. Like I said, they spend almost their entire lives, if not the entirety of their lives, in your home. That is their home. It's their space. They also have an interest in protecting it. And because they're always there, even when you're away, they've got eyes. They've got eyes on everything going on. Ground, center, sit down with your pet, give them some cuddles, some scratchies, and simply say to them, you know, this is our shared home. I charge you with the task of guarding our safety and space here. Guard over this house and warn me of any potential dangers. This is the duty I trust you with. That's it. Super simple. You don't really need any more ingredients. If you want to light a candle or some incense to kind of mark the occasion, you are more than welcome to. That is all I have for you today, but I did have more ideas brewing even just as I was reading the script and filming this video, and I was like, should I include that? I don't know. Maybe I'll make a part 2. Let me know if you're interested more, or if you want me to delve deeper in something specific. Please let me know. Thank you for visiting, and I'll see you all soon. Mwah!